I used to think marriage had a natural rhythm, that love and affection would rise and fall like tides, and patience was the only true anchor. But with my wife, Leah, the tides didn't just ebb, they vanished entirely. One ordinary Wednesday night, she turned to me, bored, and said, "That's enough intimacy for you." Just like that, as if closeness were a subscription she could cancel at will. She expected me to plead, to chase, to ask what I'd done wrong. But something inside me shifted, quietly, unexpectedly. It wasn't anger. It was clarity. Her withdrawal had begun months earlier. At first, it was small, brushing past me without a glance, keeping her phone hidden under pillows, pretending to be asleep the moment I entered the room. She blamed stress, work, headaches, and I believed her, because love makes you gullible in ways you never admit out loud. That night, though, her voice carried a sharpness beyond fatigue. I held my response. I didn't act the way she anticipated. I didn't argue. I just said, "Okay." She blinked, taken aback, but I left before she could register the full impact. I slept on the couch, not to punish her, but out of instinct. Deep down, I knew something had fundamentally shifted. I needed space to process. The next morning, she acted as if nothing had happened, humming while making coffee, offering me toast, giving a polite, distant smile, the kind you reserve for a stranger holding the elevator door. I watched her, stunned that someone I'd shared years with could look so detached. Again, I said nothing. My silence unsettled her more than any argument could have. 2 days later, her sister, alone, knocked on our door. Alone, bright, warm, and disarmingly honest. Everything Leah no longer seemed to be. She walked in with a bag of pastries, chatting about work, her cat, her latest attempt at cinnamon rolls. When Leah stepped out to take a call, Alone turned to me with concern, frowning slightly. "You okay?" she asked softly. I hesitated. "Why?" "You look tired, not just the usual kind." I shrugged it off, but she didn't let it go. "Did you two fight?" she pressed. Before I could respond, Leah returned, her face tightening when she saw us talking. She shifted the subject too quickly. Alone noticed. Later that evening, after Leah left on an errand, Alone stayed behind to help me carry some boxes to the shed. Once outside, she stopped and said, "Evan, something's wrong with her, and something's wrong with you too. Don't pretend everything's fine." I should have deflected, smiled, changed the topic. I didn't. "I'm done with intimacy," I admitted quietly. "As in done." Alone froze. "What? Why?" She didn't offer an explanation, just said it plainly. Her face softened in sympathy, then hardened with resolve. "That's not normal. It's not fair to you." I didn't argue. I didn't know what to say. That night, Leah came home irritable, snapping at minor things, slamming drawers. She kept glancing at me, as if waiting for me to break, to beg for the affection she had withdrawn. I stayed calm. That seemed to make her angrier than anything else. 3 days passed in the same cold silence. Then everything shifted. I woke early on Saturday to find Alone sitting at the kitchen table, wrapped in one of our blankets, sipping tea. She'd stayed the night after a late movie with friends, crashing on our couch. When she looked up, her eyes were heavy with something more than sleep. "I need to tell you something," she whispered. Before she could continue, Leah stormed into the kitchen, shock flashing across her face at the sight of us together. "What's going on?" she demanded. Alone looked at her sister with an expression I'd never seen before, disappointment mixed with anger. "Leah, tell him," she said. My stomach tightened. "Tell me what?" Leah's eyes darted away, jaw tight. "There's nothing to tell," she said. Alone shook her head. "Stop lying." I saw the messages on her phone. My heart sank. "You had no right." "He deserves to know," Alone continued, voice trembling. "You've been talking to someone else for months, flirting, meeting, acting like you're trapped in a marriage you don't even try to fix." The room fell silent, except for my own heartbeat roaring in my ears. I turned to Leah. "Is it true?" She didn't answer. Her silence said enough. I didn't yell. I didn't slam anything. I stepped back and let reality settle around us like dust. Then something unexpected happened. Ilone stood between us, not protectively, but with a quiet kind of hurt. "I told you to stop before you ruined everything," she said softly to her sister. "Before you hurt someone who actually cares." For the first time since this nightmare began, someone was angry for me, not at me. And it wasn't my wife. It was her sister. Leia tried to defend herself. Her excuses crumbled under the weight of her deceit. Overwhelmed, confused, unsure how to handle her emotions. None of it justified months of silent cruelty. By the time she stopped, the distance between us felt unbridgeable. I packed a bag, not in rage, but in reclaiming self-respect I had been missing for far too long. As I left, Ilone followed me to the door. "You didn't deserve any of this, Evan," she said quietly. "I hope you know that." For the first time in months, I felt seen. Walking away from the house I once called home, I realized something shocking. Leia thought I would beg her to stay. But the only person who truly wanted me to stay was the one with no reason to.